Thank you, Wendell, and welcome to tonight's edition of the Regional News. We start off tonight with some good news that the COVID-19 vaccine has arrived in the region. The Cayman Islands government received its first shipment of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine early in the week, when 9,750 doses arrived on the British Airways flight. Pfizer-BioNTech was the first vaccine to receive approval in the United Kingdom, and it has since been approved by healthcare regulatory agencies around the world, including Canada, the European Union, and the United States of America. The Ministry of Health has been working closely with the Health Services Authority's Public Health Department to implement the rollout process for the vaccine. The vaccines will initially be available to those aged 70 and over, certain patients in high-risk categories, healthcare workers, and other high-risk frontline staff. It will be taken to those who are housebound and administered by a public health official should members of the public desire this option. When there is better availability of the vaccines, the offering will extend to those aged 60 and above who are part of the first stage of vaccination. And now we turn our attention to Trinidad and Tobago. This year has started the same way 2020 began, with the severing of workers in the downstream petrochemical sector, as the Trinidadian state-owned National Gas Company fails to reach a gas supply agreement with a petrochemical company. This time it is Methanex Corporation, which on Thursday announced that it expects its Titan methanol facility will remain idled indefinitely, leading to the loss of 60 jobs. In a media release, the Vancouver-based company said, and I quote, "As a result, the company has made the decision to restructure its Trinidad operations to support a one-plant operation and reduce its Trinidad workforce by approximately 60 positions filled by employees and long-term contractors," end of quote. Methanex had last year shut down the Titan plant shortly. It has spent almost $300 million on an upgrade. It, however, could not reach agreement on a gas contract. The press release read, and I quote, "To date, we have not been successful reaching an agreement for an economic long-term natural gas agreement, and given that the economic recovery path remains uncertain, we believe it is prudent to reduce costs while continuing our efforts to secure long-term gas supply." The Atlas methanol facility, Methanex interest 63.1%, is not affected by the change and continues to operate as it is underpinned by a separate natural gas supply agreement that expires in 2024, end of quote. Energy Minister Franklin Kahn said that the decision has more to do with the collapse of methanol prices and less with the price of natural oil locally. Methanex is a Vancouver-based publicly traded company, and it is the world's largest producer and supplier of methanol to major international markets. And finally, now on January 4, thousands of Jamaican students from 132 schools across the island returned to physical classrooms to start the new school term. But as the ministry celebrated the phased reopening, the National Parents Teachers Association of Jamaica said that they are not in agreement with children going back to school. The president of the association, Mitzi Harris Dillon, says the government is taking a big risk with the lives of students by putting them back into the classroom. She said that the association had proposed that at least 70% of the student population be tested before they were back in the classroom. In the meantime, Education Minister Fayval Williams has reassured parents that it is safe to send their children to school. She said that the government implemented a safe reopening program in the selected schools stemming from the pilot program. The Ministry of Education had introduced a pilot program in November where 17 schools across the island were reopened for face-to-face classes. The ministry later announced that the program had been successful as no cases of COVID-19 were reported among the students and staff at the schools. Ministry officials visited several of the schools on day 1 and day 2 of the resumption of physical classes. Williams says the Education Ministry will continue to do routine checks to ensure the schools maintain the protocols. The ministry also plans to roll out a mobile student support initiative on January 18 to focus on the students who may have been left being in classes last year. And that is it for our region news this evening. And I continue to urge our viewers to stay indoors, wear those masks, use those hand sanitizers, and continue practicing social distancing. Have a safe and blessed weekend. Back to you, Wendell.